$2 million. That's how much this B2B funnel has made our company in the last 2 years. So if you're trying to figure out what you need to put into your business model or your B2B funnel, all you need to do is watch this video for the next 10 minutes, sit back and relax. You can feel free to funnel hack me at any point in time. But right now I'm gonna go through my ads, my actual funnel, landing page, and then I'm actually gonna give an extra bonus of snapshots and some automations that you'll be able to see in the back end. Not everything I use right now is currently up to date, but for you guys, it's gonna do more than enough to get you at least 20 to 30 bookings every single month with this exact funnel, this exact automation. Okay, so as you can see, this is my website. You can very easily find me just by searching Traciety. We're quite reputable and have a decent sized portfolio. When it comes to, this landing page, this isn't connected to our ads. The actual landing page that is connected to our ads is this page right here, and then, I have an intro video that feel free to copy at any point in time. By the way, guys, just quick hard stop. If you want to pull anything from yours, definitely implement it because this has been successful and I found great success with everything that you see here. It's been trialed and tested. We've put thousands and thousands of dollars into optimizing things when it comes to our campaigns, our funnels, and our ads and our automations. So we like to think we know what to do. Obviously, we're still a startup company and we've been around for the last 3 years. So always room for improvement. But for us, this is what's working right now. This is what looks like on my laptop. Primarily my B2B clientele usually inquire through their phone. So it looks a little bit different on the phone, but you get the gist. So I have a 15 to 20 minute intro video explaining our process. Now, this is very important, guys. If you're doing an intro to close or intro temp check pitch, then to close, I highly recommend that you have a introductory video that explains the process as if you were pitching it. The difference between this video and then a pitch is people think that they're giving too much away in the intro video where they're talking about, what it includes, XYZ. But when you're pitching, it's completely different to actually what you're showing. Because when you show it in the video where it's just, they watch it in their own time, that's just explaining the process, so they have questions or they have a concept of what you do. But in your pitch, if you'd done your intro and discovery right, you would have been able to articulate, okay, this is the problem, this is the pains, this is the problems that they're finding, and I'm going to direct my pitch in a certain way. I'm going to navigate around the things that are unnecessary and then highlight the things that are necessary, which will help me further down the close. This is just a general blanket catch with the video that you see here on your initial inquiry page. So when they click learn more, book now, or whatever it is on the ad, this is what's going to pop up. It's going to be a short video that they're told to watch, and then they have to click in a form. For me, very simplistic form. We used to do pop-up forms. We used to do no forms and just the calendar with a couple of questions. What we found is this is the most successful when it comes to what actually creates the most conversions. Obviously, it looks a little bit different on the phone, but it's just a questionnaire-based way of asking things, and it converts at least 40% of the people that we see that click on the actual ad. So I'm just gonna quickly fill this in. I'm gonna, put my information here. I'm gonna put clinic name, Tariq's Clinic, put my Instagram in, building, I'm earning 10 to 25K, whatever it is. And then also gonna put this, put my number in, full name. This is already pre-filled in, so I'm going to press submit. I'll go into the Slack and an in-house notification that's visible and what will actually pop up on my side. I book a time, very simplistic, stuff. Then also, we fill in that last bit of stuff. And then I go here, fill this in, all this good stuff. And then I schedule the meeting. This is an invalid phone number, so maybe if I go here, I'll schedule the meeting. So that's how we actually have a funnel. That's how we capture information. After that, there's a thank you page. Now, this isn't convoluted. My introductory video is also being sent out to them as we speak once they actually inquired. And I'll show you the text messages behind that and what they're receiving. And at the same time, this is actually what it looks like on our back end when they actually inquire all the way through, which is fully accessible to you guys if you funnel hack. I don't recommend doing that. If you want me to assist you with your back end, no, Paul, that's hella gay, right? That sounded pretty gay. Either way, I'll keep that in. If you want me to help you guys with your back-end systems, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you guys. We are creating something I'm sure you saw in my videos previous. If you're new here, maybe not. We currently have a project that we're working on where we help agencies that are within the 0 to 10K range, and then 10 plus where you're trying to scale past 100K. We help both dynamics of agencies. So if you feel like I'm the guy that you want actually helping you, inquire down below, see if we're actually able to help you. No questions asked, where you just, at least if we don't end up working together, I can actually give you some information on, this is what you should be doing to get to the stage where I can help. No strings attached. We have a free skill community and we have paid communities. You can find everything you can down below. But back to the actual thank you page. So when someone actually inquires and books all the way through, they get brought to a page where basically I'm yapping saying you need to book this meeting onto your calendar. Make sure you've seen your text messages. Make sure you respond. Just it's basically to confirm that A, they won't no-show the meeting, and this 100% helps with actually having the appointments attend. I have about an 80% attendance rate with my appointments, and it used to be awful. It used to be 50% because I barely did anything. I had no thank you page. I had no introductory call. I didn't have an AE pre-call, and I'll get into that too in a second. But I didn't do anything. I just thought having the meeting booked and then just showing on the calendar, that's enough for them to show up. That was not the case. So I implemented all this to ensure that show up rates actually show up. And this also qualifies these leads. You know, I also talk about a little bit that we work per zip code. So if you don't show, there's a little bit of sales tactics in there where we're creating urgency, saying if you don't inquire, or this video is only visible to you because it's only visible to people in your area currently, and we can only work with one person. So it basically says, look, if you don't work with us, we could potentially work with one of your competitors. And that's how we go about creating some urgency. And we talk about that in the pitch if necessary, if they're, you know, trying to not actually close on the spot. Then I have some FAQs at the bottom talking about how much we cost, treatment, all this kind of stuff. General FAQs that clinic owners text all the time on our Instagram, on our website, on our Facebook, even just calling in. We usually get people reaching out on our Google because we have quite decent SEO, and then also on Instagram as well, where people are literally just reaching out to us directly. We have a free school community. This isn't accessible to everybody, but we obviously offer appointment setting and sales training just for our clinic owners, and then also for people that potentially want to work with us that aren't currently clients of ours. And this is all readily accessible to people that, you know, potentially want to work with us or are currently working with us. That's our back end. Now, obviously, if you scroll down, we have an infinity scroll where every single review is visible. And then we have some case studies. We also have a YouTube channel. We have quite a lot when it comes to our B2B funnel. So I would say this isn't as necessary as, you know, the actual hard nitty gritty stuff when it comes to, you know, the videos, the way you collect and gather the information. But these testimonials 100% help with our conversions. I can't say for sure the numbers that they're converting, you know, oh, this particular, you know, testimonial video here is helping us convert X amount more people. But I know for a fact, every time I jump on a sales call, or anytime my team or my AE jumps on a sales call, or even my SDRs, there's a lot of good feedback. They say, oh, I saw this review, I connected with this. The difference between our reviews and a lot of other clinics or a lot of other agencies we have is we work with a lot of demographics. So, you know, for example, someone that could be younger or Hispanic, and they are trying to move forward with us, and they see a Hispanic younger girl leaving some feedback like Hennesis, or for example, you know, Korean at the bottom. These are good prime example as to, oh, I see a testimonial that's related to our business. I want to move forward with these guys because they helped someone exactly like me. So we have quite a variety of testimonials on our page that 100% I know for a fact help with conversions. I can't say the 100%, you know, this is exactly how much we're making because of this particular referral, but I just know overall it's helping. So you get the gist. We have case study YouTube videos. So we have a YouTube channel basically talking about our AM calls, where our, you know, account manager is speaking with the owners and discussing, like, you know, the results that we're getting and just everything in between. And of course we're tracking stuff. I'll get into tracking and B2C tracking and all that stuff. My colleagues, Austin and Ryan, they have YouTube videos starting up where they'll go a little bit more into the B2C aspect of the business, where you'll be able to see, okay, this is what's happening within internally, and you'll definitely gather a lot of information there. And we're just going to develop it all into a course so you guys can see exactly what we're doing in a high performing agency, so you can implement it into yours and then of course benefit from that too. Now, that's just the funnel. Okay, so in terms of automations, I'm not going to go fully show you every single little bit. There's a few here that we still use. There's some that we don't use, but you basically only need 5 strong automations for your inbound B2B funnel. Now, this could easily be outbound. Let's just say someone is scrolling through Google and they find your website and they just go through your website and funnel all the way through. But this is clearly, you know, mainly for B2B inbound ads. And, you know, if you're not doing inbound ads, you're already losing against your competitors. You know, outbound is just going to be way slower. Obviously, it's good to have an acquisition funnel in outbound, which we do have, but the bulk of our return is coming strictly from inbound. But for me, I have 5 automations that I generally use from day-to-day basis, which is an email lead drip automation. You know, if someone inquires, you know, I have an email drip where if someone inquires, they wait 1 day and then they get sent an email. They wait another day. Well, they actually wait a week. They wait 1 week and then they get sent another email. And we do this 8 times. So we have a 2-month email drip, actually a 2-month, 1 week email drip sequence. And that's if someone just inquires automatically. Then we have a manual drip. So let's just say someone inquires and they're just not a good fit and they're taken out of the automation drip, we also can manually drag them on our pipeline. So I can go back here and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Like if I'm dragging now let me try not show anything, but like, let's just say I wanted to drag someone from October, November, December, or not qualified. If I drag this particular name onto email, they'll automatically get an email and then add it to that email nurture system. And then if I go back to my automations, you can kind of see automation system. That's the 2 email B2B aspects. Very simplistic. It's just wait 1 week, send an email. Wait 1 week, send an email. There's obviously a CTA in there for our appointment booking channel, which brings us straight to the page where when someone inquires through our ad. So we can maybe amplify a few more appointments there. I don't actually have the numbers on that, but it's just about having that touch point, ensuring that your emails don't go to spam as well. So you have to obviously warm up the email. Don't do too many at once. Go really slow, because the email drip manual system is something that if you just add 50, 60 people in one go, you're just going to go straight to spam. So it's important that you're cautious about how many people you enroll at a time. But again, this is just stuff that helps with, creating a household name. We've been around for a little while. So if I know Traciety, my company name is just popping up on someone's phone, even if they're not inquiring, that's a good thing for me, because then they might see my ad, they might see one of my organic posts, they might hear from another company, and then they inquire. And guess what? We get about 3 to 4 referrals a month. So that does help. And I'm not saying it all comes from that, but it's just about expanding those estuaries and really branching out across the US and Canada, because that's all we work. Then we have an inbound lead. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy into this, and I'll go into the Slack now in a second. But we have a trigger form if the survey is submitted, if they fill in the form, if they fill in the Facebook lead form. So these are all triggers that anywhere they inquire, website, through the ad, or anywhere else, let's just say they inquire through like our Google link or our YouTube link, or even through Instagram. We have our Instagram link on our bio, and I'll show you that as well in terms of our B2B funnel. We have it very much there. It's about being omnipresent, and I'll show you guys, and I'll talk, let me just see if I can go into the back. We actually have our booking link on our Instagram, very clearly there. If I go to YouTube right now, we only have 17 subscribers. We have 6 videos, but the link is there as well. So you can kind of see, okay, we're omnipresent. Anywhere someone clicks, they will be able to find us. They go on our website. If I just literally go straight to our website, they'll be able to find us. If they Google search us, they'll be able to find us anywhere. And that's the whole point. We want to be omnipresent. Back to the automations. So when someone comes in, they get added a tag, of course. They get brought to an actual opportunity. They get brought to, like the lead stage. If you don't have this set up, guys, this is very clearly catered to someone who has Go High Level already created. I'm not going to go into the beginner aspect of things where you just don't have anything set up. This is assuming that you know what you're doing when it comes to creating pipelines, and you're already established past the stage of maybe 2 or 3 clients a month. Okay? Hopefully that doesn't just push everyone away. If you're finding this insightful, again, click the link below, see if we can actually help. And then after there's a created opportunity, you're brought straight into the Slack notification. I'll open Slack. Obviously everything's blurred. I don't want you guys seeing everything, but just below, this was actually an inquiry while we were shooting the video. Everything's visible here about my business, about the machines that I have, about that and the time I booked. And then obviously I just spam just to make sure you can't see my other inbounds really quickly. Hopefully I don't get one while we're speaking. But as you can see, I get that in-house Slack notification knowing when a new lead comes in. I also get a Go High Level internal notification, and I also see it on my phone. So I'm not gonna miss it. So let's just say a lead comes in and they don't end up booking. I have me, an AE, an SDR, multiple SDRs ready to call that lead to either go for an intro or just book them directly on the calendar and see where that goes. Usually if they're not qualified, there's a process with that too. I'm not gonna go too much into that, but you get the gist. Everyone is going to be accounted for if they come in as a lead on my system. They get a confirm automated message. So once they inquire, they get an initial message. I'm not going to go into it too much, but then after that, there's a wait. And then they also get another confirmation saying they booked. After that, there's another wait. That's saying, if they didn't book, did they reply? Reply notification, added to hot lead, internal notification, we call. If they didn't book, voicemail is sent. You can pre-record voicemails on Go High Level. If you don't do that already, that's good. Typical thing I like to say is, hey, saw there was interest. Looking to see if you're trying to find a time to speak regarding the inquiry you made with our business. My name's Tariq, blah, blah, blah. Quick, short, to the point voicemail. When you create a voicemail and Go High Level, it actually causes an internal notification on our side. And at the same time, it actually rings their phone for 2 rings. So by the time they're able to pick up the phone, it looks like we actually call them, which actually reconverts someone to call you back, and then you can answer and book them in. But personally, me, I don't actually like calling or answering the phone. So if I see them call back, I'm immediately calling them again. Hey, sorry, I saw you call. I wasn't able to get it. I was in a meeting. But I saw you're actually calling in regards to the response I made. Did you find a time to book a meeting? Blah, blah, blah. Just get them on the system. These are inbound, so they're a lot hotter than just pure cold. If they don't, hey, just tried to reach out. This SMS is probably something like, hey, just tried to reach out. Did you get a chance to find a time on my calendar to have a sit down? There's one message you can steal from me. And then if they don't respond, if they do respond, brought to hot leads, in-house notification, we contact them, boom. If they don't, SMS again, maybe I think this is the last SMS. If they do respond, hot lead, internal notification, conversation starts. If they don't, create an opportunity. We usually bring them to email drip, because by the time day 4 comes around, we're already double dialing these leads. We're already double dialing these leads every single day, and that doesn't take them out of the automation to make sure, okay, let's try book them in. So if we've called them, 4 times in the first 2 days, let's just say 8 times in the 4 days of them within the automation, and then they get sent to the email, and they also get double dialed again. There's about 20 touch points in that first 5 days of the lead inquiring, which is quite a lot, especially for B2B, but we're trying to get them booked in. We even have a WhatsApp set up that if someone doesn't actually respond to anything over those 20 days, we reach out via WhatsApp, and we also reach out to their website phone number. So let's just say if they inquire with their personal phone number and they're not responding, and they have a adjacent business number on their website, we actually like to go onto their actual website, because they obviously give us their link, and call that number. And if a front desk says, hey, this person on your team inquired with us, when can we have a sit down? That also helps with conversions. These are the little things that we've picked up on that help. And of course, we're writing notes within each lead, in the notes section, and go high level. Okay, this occurred. And because they're timed, we then know, we have set dates of, okay, this is the process that we did with this lead for the last 3 days. If it's a no answer double dial, just NA double dial. That's the way we do it. And we do that every time we dial. So every time we make a call within our team, there's a note being added. Every time there's a pitch, the full pitch is translated onto the Go High Level. We have Otter AI that's connected with our Go High Level, so it's able to just translate what is said on Otter AI and put straight onto the Go High Level. Zapier is going to be your best friend. Otter AI, if you're not using these tools to enhance, your note-taking system, so you can actually have decent backend research, and you can find, okay, very quickly, oh, do you remember that lead in that pipeline? Why didn't they close? I can then review the notes. I can see how many times you were calling. Was there an AE call before that? And we'll go into it a little bit. But that's the inbound lead workflow. Hopefully that makes sense. Then the last thing is the appointment confirmation follow-up. Very simplistic, If they actually book all the way through, as in like they book on the calendar, they're removed from the lead workflow. They're removed from pretty much every other workflow. Sent in-house notification in Slack. You guys saw, this is basically the message here, where there's a demo booked, and then there's a confirmation SMS. Hey, see you at this time, blah, blah, blah. I'll show this, why not? Just as I can give you a little bit. So I was, hey, your appointment with thing is report for this time. Meeting below is this link. Austin is going to probably create a YouTube video going into the nitty gritty of like how the automations are connected. But this appointment meeting location, so we do our meetings on Google Drive or Google, so Google Meets. So that link that's going to be on the Google Meet is going to be sent via text message, and they can easily just find it on their Google, or they can go on their email and find the same link there. So they're getting the link 3 times, and that's just in the automation, the first message, so they can't miss it. And they're also getting a couple messages before. So you can kind of see how visible we are when it comes to making sure these people show up. Because guess what? I was pulling my hair with the amount of no-shows, and this wasn't all done before. Okay, then there's a wait time of 1 minute. They automatically get a message. So the next message is probably, check this video out about our process, which makes sense. The thank you for booking page, which is this page that we were just on. I just went back. But it's this one where they, I'm really pushing for them to watch this video, and also watch these FAQs if they just skipped by it when they got brought to the thank you page. Other than that, they get an email, basically relaying the same information, wait 1 day before. We also then, send them the link again, make sure all deciding partners are in the call. I can't stress enough how, if they have a business partner and I have them join the meeting, I'm saying, look, you need to have everyone on the call, and then we can proceed, and I'm pre-qualifying that in the intro call first. I'm like, do you have anyone on your team that you think might be part of this decision? Yes? Great. How about we just reschedule, get them on the call, boom, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't be taking these calls. It would 100% be an AE doing that quick qualification call. If they're having an attitude, but, I just wanted it, then I'm not interested in working with those guys. So that's the way I like to conduct things. And that's, I spoke to one guy really good. This guy called Hyper Fascia Training. He's kind of getting a little popular now. And I reached out to him, because I was like, oh man, my back is kind of sore, and I'm big on fascia training. and he was saying his schedule is 45 minutes. So, like if you want to book an appointment, it's 45 minutes and it's $97. And I was like, damn, man, I don't actually have 45 minutes for the next while because I was traveling. And he was like, well, if you don't have 45 minutes, that's not how we do things professionally. You have a good rest of your day. This guy just said that shit to me, and I had a huge shift. I was still going to book, and I'm still going to, and I have. But the way he spoke to me was like, you know what? He took no shit, but he also showed respect, and he took a assertiveness with how he does business. So if you have owners that have a problem with how you do business, you can very much say, look, that's actually not how we do things in our company. If you don't mind doing this as requested, great. If not, then we probably wouldn't be able to help. Have a good rest of your day. If you're starting to talk like that, I guarantee you that's just a little bit of sales aspect in the B2B funnel. If you're talking like that within your company, because you're going to get, swung around if you let these owners fucking take advantage of you, and you're going to be their bitch if you don't start conducting the way you speak like that. Anyways, back to this. One day before, please join. We saw that. And then the last message is 1 hour before, excited to see you join. We don't actually say, oh, please join this, that, and this. We usually say, hey, excited for you guys to join. Let me know if you need anything before the call. Our show up rate is about 80%. I don't have the exact numbers, but last month was 80% on the dot. 80.1, 80.12. That was our show up rate for B2B. Anyways, that's the workflow. You guys saw the Slack. You saw that how it works. You saw all the automations. The last automation is just very basic, which is a no-show nurture, that if they no-show, I literally just drag them into an opportunity on our pipeline, and then they get sent a message. And you know what? This is going to be the sauciest message you're going to see. I'm going to send this shit to you. Why the fuck not? Let's show it. This is something, shout out Will. I worked in Doctify. He doesn't even know I remember this, but I worked underneath a senior account executive that was crushing it. Now I was obviously the best rep there as I kind of set my foot in there gradually. But Will, who trained me, he really knew what he was fucking talking about. He just wrote this message off rip, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this forever. And this was at least 5 years ago. When someone no-shows, I say, hi, it's Tariq here from company. I've just tried calling you a couple times as we're due to have a meeting today. I appreciate how busy you must be. Do you know when there might be a time better for us to speak? If I don't hear from you, I'll give you a quick ring this evening to rearrange. Thanks, Tariq. Dude, when you say what you're going to do in the message, it immediately garners a response. I get a 50% response rate with this from no-shows. So if I send this 15 minutes after they no-show, they'll respond 50% of the time. If they don't, guess what? They're in the double dial pipeline nurture. So they're getting double dialed until they actually pick up, especially if they're a qualified lead. If they're not qualified, I think we're a little bit more lenient with it. But obviously we have a prospecting process with that. But when it comes to them being qualified, they get this message, and then they're getting double dialed till kingdom come until they respond. And I don't give a fuck if they have a problem with this. We haven't had any bad feedback from double dialing on this message yet, and we're going to continue this way. But this shows the respect that you understand they're busy and things can happen. But at the same time, it says, you know what, motherfucker? I'm going to call you whether you like it or not. And guess what? You are going to like it. Boom. That's all of our workflows that you really need. I didn't show every message, obviously, but you get the gist of the structure. This is, of course, a good message that I'm willing to give to you guys. No problem, free of charge. Enjoy. And that's that. You saw the Slack. The last thing I'm willing to give you guys is just a stat sheet. Now, if you don't have a sales stat sheet where you're gathering the name, the date you booked, you can just go into Go High Level right now. You can go to appointments created. You can see all the appointments that have been created, copy and paste that from Go High Level onto your stat sheet, and it'll do just like that. No problem. But if you want to go a step further, create this. This is something basic that I made for you guys. Okay, very simplistic. You just have your name. You obviously have the month on the bottom. June, July. Obviously, I don't. This isn't mine, but like this is basically a stat sheet. Boom. I'll actually show you guys this. I can even link it for you guys if you want. But you get the name of the person, the date they booked for. AE pre-call. AE pre-call means, did you call them as they booked the appointment? As in, they booked the appointment. Did you call them before the appointment starts, saying, hey, good to see that you found everything fine, blah, blah, blah. We're still good for that time that you booked? Great, cool. Attended, yes, no, DQ. I DQ meetings that I don't want to speak to. Obviously, we're not going to waste time speaking to people that aren't qualified, and that happens a lot. Obviously, people spam or whatever, or they're just not there. Qualified lead, unqualified. So let's just say a lead that does appear qualified, but they come onto the call and they're not qualified, like they can't afford shit, or they're not making enough money to even be in a position for us to actually, charge them. Great. Then deal size. So obviously if they close, cool. I'd say like if they close, I'll color coordinate it, make it green. If they don't close, I'll make it, whatever. But you get the gist. Then you can actually put the meet recording. If you're not recording every fucking sales call, then you're just shooting yourself in the foot. I hot link the meet recording there, and then add the other external notes if I didn't have already on them on my Go High level. And then just a little thing that I like to kind of have known when it comes to actually checking statistics. I can count how many qualified meetings I had that month, how many attended, what was my show up rate, obviously, deals closed, call to close, meaning not intro to close. That doesn't mean, call to close doesn't mean, okay, I had 50 people show up, but I only closed 10. Out of those 50 people, how many of them did you pitch? If you only pitched 30, then that means you closed 10 out of 30 people, meaning 33% close rate, which if your close rate is 33% in B2B and your average, ticket cost is around 1,500 to 2,500, you're doing pretty well, guys. Okay. MRR generated, obviously how much money you made just from outbound or inbound or whatever the fuck. And then ad spend, so you just go on your back end, how much ad spend did you spend? All this is like CAC, cost per acquisition. CPL, if your CPL is anywhere, it doesn't really matter what the fuck your CPL is. If your CPL is $400 and every single lead you're closing is being closed, then your CPA is also $400. But let's just say your CPL is $100 and every 5 leads you close, then you can obviously say your CPA is $500. So every time you spend 10 grand, you're making, you're closing 20 people. And that's that. And those are the kind of stats you should be looking at. Everything else, you can put all the bells and whistles in. You can have the YouTube, you can have the school, you can have all this kind of crazy shit. But none of that is actually important. The main important thing is a good B2B funnel where it's very easy for them to actually book. It's very easy for them to see that they're not going to miss this meeting. It's very easy for you as a person who owns a company or someone that you have reaching out to them to get them to show up. And then if all that is right, they will attend the meeting. And if your closing process is super strong, then, that's more money in your bank account. I hope that was beneficial, guys. That was definitely longer than I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a short video. If you did find this valuable, definitely drop a subscribe. We're in the process of working on a high ticket agency where we help clinics, or not clinics, but like agencies like yourself, if you have one yourself, or online businesses scale past the 0 to 10K and then from 10K onwards. So if you feel like you fit that criteria, drop a subscription, maybe Instagram follow, send me a DM. I'll link other people like Ryan and Austin when they eventually start making videos that you can see their content too, and hopefully that's helpful. Free value is always being dropped every single week. I'd say 1 to 2 videos a week is what you should be expecting from me at least. And yeah, appreciate it if you made it all the way to the end. Peace and love.